guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Courtney. I go by Courtney on Posh on all platforms, and today I have someone very special with me. You might recognize her from the letterboards during Posh Fest, but this is my friend Tamsin. So Tams, tell us where we can find you.
Hey guys, so my handle is on all platforms, Tamsin's Threads. YouTube, it's Tamsin's Threads LLC. I don't know why I did that, but everything is Tamsin's Threads.
Love it. And how long have you been reselling for?
So I've been reselling since November of 2018, and I was doing that part-time while working a full-time job and doing school, and I'm doing it full-time now as of end of January.
And what has that transition been like moving into full-time?
It's been great. I really have enjoyed getting to know people in the community and building stronger relationships and thinking of it more as like coworkers. I really enjoyed learning from other people, and I feel like I've really grown in my ability to give myself grace and to give others grace as well, because reselling looks different for everyone else. It's not a cut and paste type formula. You have to do a lot of trial and error. So I've really enjoyed that process.
I love that. I absolutely agree with that. And what platforms do you sell on?
So I'm mainly on Poshmark, but I'm working on cross-listing on over to eBay and Mercari, a little bit of Tradesy, and a little bit of Etsy.
Which platform, since you primarily use Poshmark, which platform is kind of the weirdest to try to learn?
For me, eBay for sure. So I've been listing on eBay for a while, but I haven't had any traction other than from scammers. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong, but Denali from El Ducho Thrift has just continued to say, like, continue listing and you'll see results in a few weeks. It's not as immediate as Poshmark or Mercari. So I've just been continuing to list and hoping that it works, but I don't know if I'm doing something wrong as far as like shipping and stuff. That's more of a mystery to me, is making sure that I'm doing everything right to pick up the new algorithms on eBay, because they're so different from Poshmark.
That's a really great insight. And so for anyone who hasn't ventured into eBay yet, when you talk about scammers, how do you identify that someone is a scam?
Yeah, so it's fairly similar to a comment on Poshmark where they're like, hey, I'm really interested in this item, email me at this email. So if they're asking you to text them, to email them, if they offer you more than the asking price, then that is in itself a scam. What they do is you accept an offer, and then they have different ways of doing it, but you accept the offer and you think that you're going to make the sale, but the sale doesn't actually go through, and then you ship them the item. So it's really important that you are aware that there are scammers out there, and they prey on a lot of new sellers. So be careful.
That is really, really good insight. Talking about insight, when you first started reselling, is there anything that you listened to advice-wise that you wish you wouldn't have?
Yeah, I would just say making sure that you have like all of the gadgets for reselling. I feel like with reselling, you can really just use a blank wall, a window, and your camera and whatever's in your closet. You really don't need to spend a lot of money. I mean, of course, a ring light really helps and a Dymo label printer really helps, but you could definitely save up your earnings to pay for that later. You don't need all of it all at once, unless you want to go like all out and, you know, think of it as a business. A lot of people, when they start businesses, they invest a lot of money up front and then they have to worry about paying it back. But with Poshmark, it's great because you can start from the bootstraps. You don't have to, or reselling in general, you don't have to invest a ton of money at first. You can kind of build yourself up slowly.
I love that. And what is the best advice that you listened to right away or wish you would have listened to right away?
I would say CEO or searchable words in your listings, and making sure that your listings have as much detail as possible. For me, like, to be able to see that resellers were selling damaged items, but disclosing all of the damage and saying, hey, this will still sell if you let the customer know that this item is used, and if you disclose everything, it'll still sell. So that has been really good for my business model, because I shop mainly at thrift stores and I can fix a lot of the items, but a lot of the stuff people are really happy with. They don't mind paying up even if it's, a little damaged or a little used.
I think that's such great insight, because I think it's a common it's common that a lot of people say, oh, well, I just skip things that have stains or have holes or any type of defects like that. So I think it's really interesting to hear that, and to hear that things do move for you. A question with that, and it doesn't even have to be damaged items, but I'm wondering, since you've started reselling, has there been any items that you would constantly pick up that you no longer pick up because of changes in the market?
Definitely. I don't really pick up any more Athleta unless they're like long leggings that are high rise or cropped leggings that are high rise. And with Free People, I will not pay up for Free People anymore unless it's like a very beautiful embellished dress, you know, something that people would pay up for. But t-shirts and flannels and stuff like that, I tend to not pick those up unless I can get those for less than $3 a piece. And something to note with Free People is if you bundle the items, it works really well because most sellers, when they see that you have Free People, they search your whole closet for Free People and bundle it anyway. Same with Madewell. So a lot of times if you have pieces that are similar, you can bundle it. But I wouldn't pay up for Free People anymore, and I'd be careful about what Anthropologie brands I pick up. You want to make sure that they're current.
I agree with everything you just said. What brand would be, if you could only source one brand for the rest of your life, dream brand, what would it be?
I mean, it would be great if I could pick up luxury items, but as far as like bread and butter, Madewell sells really well for me, and I really like the aesthetic of the brand. So I love Madewell for that. And their model names and details about the listings because they're readily available on the internet.
So I heard you talk about going to the thrift stores. When you hit the thrift store, what is the very first section that you're going to look at?
Definitely shoes. Oh my gosh, shoes.
Tell me,
I love
what do I need
shoes.
to know about shoes if I don't sell shoes?
I love shoes, and I'm not afraid to pick up a pair that needs some cleaning. Obviously, I put it off because, you know, cleaning is not that fun, but I feel like a lot of people pass up shoes just because they need some cleaning or they need some TLC. And so I'll definitely pick up a pair of Converse and clean them up. Those clean up super easy, and then quick flip, they'll sell within a week. I don't know. I really like, you have to be careful because a lot of the luxury brands are a little bit older because they last a long time. So when you pick up a nicer brand like Stuart Weitzman, you want to make sure that it's a more current style. I have a couple pairs in my closet that aren't selling, and I think it's just because they're not current styles. And I just saw the name and I freaked out. So you want to make sure that you have like semi-current styles, or if they're vintage, if it's still kind of a trending style, even though it's vintage, if that makes sense.
I think that's really great advice for those who don't pick up items that are dirty but want to get into that. What's the best way or your tips and secrets for cleaning shoes? What products?
Yeah, so I have Grandma's Stain Remover. It's a little bottle and a little nozzle, so I'll use that. I have like a shoe cleaner kit that I got from the mall when they stopped us one time, but it actually works. And I use the magic erasers. I'm trying not to use those as much though because they fall apart on you and clog the drain. So I'll use those if I have to as a last resort.
I love that. When it comes to the whole process between thrifting and selling, what is your favorite thing to do?
Sourcing.
That's a pretty common answer. What's your least favorite then?
um, I don't mind taking pictures of items with the measuring tape in the listing, but I hate going back and adding the actual numbers into the listing. Like, and I don't really like to write it down beforehand. I know that empty hanger Jenna, a lot of times before she'll take photos, she'll like write the item down and write down each number. But I don't know, measurements are just really hard for me, but I know that they're essential. My items sell a lot faster when I use measurements. So
I agree. I hate measuring because I'm really tall and I'm bending over.
yeah, that's
So we're
tricky.
trying to get the measurements. So, and I'm like you, I take photos of the measurements and I include that in the listing as well. So when it comes to actually listing your item, what is the most important thing that you're going to add into your listing?
You definitely want to put in the condition of the item and it disclose absolutely everything that you can. I mean, obviously the choice of words, you want to be a little bit more flattering. I don't know how to describe that, but I mean, obviously you don't want to use like meh type words, but you still want to be professional in describing everything. You could say slight pilling or recently sweater shaved or recently conditioned, my like slight marks, please see photos. So you want to disclose everything. That's really important. And then measurements, and then make sure that your title is really good.
So you are just venturing into your first year of being full-time. What is your goals within the next year? It's hard, I know, because we're all currently in quarantine, but once we do get out, what are you hoping to accomplish?
Definitely. So I want to be able to replace my income. And I don't know, I'm trying hard not to compare myself to other resellers because I know other resellers might be doing it for years on end, or they might have a different background than me so they can apply their prior knowledge to their reselling business. But for me, I'd be really happy if I could at least replace my income that I was currently making. I was making a little bit above a minimum wage job because I really like the work. And obviously, I would love to make more, but if I could at least like do the same as what I was making before, then that would help me justify continuing to do reselling.
Absolutely. And how does your husband tie into your business?
Yeah, so he's a big supporter. For a while, he was helping me clean shoes, but I think he got pretty tired of that. So, yeah, we currently are both working from home. So, his office is directly underneath, and he'll come up and say hi and cheer me on. And sometimes he'll take packages to the post office. But his main support is having a steady job that he is doing really, really well at and continuing to be better and better each day. So, having that constant in our life is very, very helpful because if we were both entrepreneurs, I think that would be really difficult.
I love that. I love that you talk about how not only he is your cheerleader, but I can tell from the way that you're talking about him that you are also his cheerleader. So I think that is incredible. So one thing I really love is your content. I think that you go above and beyond when it comes to Instagram and YouTube. And I just want to know how you think that those platforms have helped you when it comes to reselling.
For sure. I think reselling is very much in the Poshmark community is very much about helping each other out and giving each other support. So with Instagram, growing that Instagram has really helped me when I run sales because I can get the word out and I can advertise that a little bit better. I can share other people's closets that, people's closets and the amount of followers doesn't always equate to the followers on Instagram. So you never know who you're interacting with. Sometimes people have been selling on Poshmark for years and then they just start an Instagram. They might have a couple hundred followers. And you go to the Poshmark closet and oh my gosh, they have almost, 250,000 followers and they've sold almost 3,000 items. Like you never know. So I think having that community and using Instagram as a platform just to go in and share some love, I think it's really helpful for your business because when you help other people out, they might help you. I mean, obviously, you don't want to go and support someone expecting them to share the love back because I think that defeats the whole purpose of love. You can't really have set limits on it. But I think in general, having that community is really helpful because you can support one another. And then you can also give insider tips. Like I've had people send me sales, links to sales of retail arbitrage. I've had people share, hey, I think your item might not be legit. You might want to look at this, like to help me authenticate items. So it's really like encouraging to have people's backs and for people to have your back as well.
Love that. So two things with that. First, I love how you talked about using it for sales or promoting sales you're having. When you do that, are you using the Instagram stories features? Are you making actual posts? What's the best way to get engagement when you are throwing a sale?
So I really like to have a post, like an Instagram post, and then that way I can tag other people. I can have people tag other people underneath that, and it's something that people can go back to. And then you can always archive it later and or delete it later. But then you'll have something that you can share for your highlight if you don't want to make a separate highlight graphic. I use Canva for my graphics. So if you don't want to make a separate highlight graphic, it's really helpful to use the Instagram post to share to your stories. And then you can share other people's deals that they got. And for me, highlights have been really, really helpful because people want kind of live action. They want to see what people are up to. So if you have really good highlights, I don't want to say mine are good. I feel like there's a lot that I can improve on, but I feel like if I have a few highlights every day, I keep the engagement up a lot more than just posting it and leaving it alone and trying to interact on the post.
I love that. I think that's awesome feedback. When it comes to your Instagram, sorry I keep going back to this. I just think that you do such a great job with your Instagram. I totally agree with Canva. That's something that I use as well. I want to know, how do you feel about integrating reselling Instagrams into a personal account, or do you think it's better just to straight out have a account that's solely dedicated to reselling?
Yeah, I can't really speak for anyone else, but for me, I have been on Instagram for a while, and I knew that I wanted to do something social media wise before I started Poshmark. So even before I was reselling at all, I tried to start a YouTube channel and tried to gain traction that way, but I felt like I really didn't have anything of value or of content. So I've kind of worked hard to have that involvement before reselling even started. So when I started a reseller account or when I started reselling, I just changed my personal account to my reselling account, and I figure the people that are in my personal life that are tired of seeing my reseller content, they don't have to follow. But the people that are still there are going to be my supporters. And so I kind of just went with that. Another portion of it, or the reason why I kept my personal account and changed it into a business account rather than creating a whole new Instagram, was that it crosses over easier for Facebook and for other signing in issues. And for me, I used Instagram a little bit too much even before I was reselling. So having it be my Instagram is for my business, that mentality has really helped me be able to shut it off or turn it off. Now it's a little bit different now that I have friends like you. I'm like wanting to communicate with you guys more and more. But in general, when I go into Instagram, I'm saying, okay, is this helpful for my business or is it time to put it away? And so that's been really helpful for me. So for me, I've just changed my personal Instagram into my reselling one. And if you scroll all the way down, you'll see more like pictures of my family and friends and stuff like that. I mean, don't go that far because it doesn't look that great, but I've kept it that way. It's been really helpful.
Well, thank you so much for jumping on with me today. Before we go, I want to know about your community. Who are 3 people that have a huge impact on you that we should be following?
So I thought long and hard about this question. It was really hard for me to pick 3 people because so many people have been instrumental in my growth. But I tried to pick people who have good content and have good items in their closet that I feel like deserve a shout out. So the first one is White Fox Flora, and she works for Facebook and Instagram, and so she's really tech savvy, but she also understands the apps really well, and then she has really good content and she has really good stuff in her closet. She's really, really sweet. We actually just did an interview recently and I really enjoyed getting to know her, so we've just been in contact lately and we've been keeping each other updated on stuff during quarantine, so I really like her. And then Haley, it's Hey D Roast. So we've been best friends since high school, and I actually helped her get started on Poshmark, and she is killing it. Her Poshmark closet is super, super cute, and she has really good stuff in her closet right now. She's also an esthetician, and she has really funny memes on her Instagram. So she's not like all about reselling on her Instagram, which I really enjoy because sometimes when you follow mainly Instagrams, it's just too much sometimes. But yeah, I love Haley. And then the next one is Lindsay. So Lindsay moved to Arizona recently, and her handle is teach_posh_repeat. And she's a teacher in Arizona. And she's one of those that recently is starting to really get into social media, and she started a YouTube channel. But if you go to her Poshmark closet, she's very experienced, and you're like, well, this is a really amazing closet, and why haven't I heard about this closet before? So Lindsay's great too.
I love that. I'm so excited to follow all of them, and I'm going to leave a link to each of them below so that you guys can check them out as well. Tamsin, thank you so much for coming on today. It has been such a pleasure getting to talk to you. I have the pleasure of knowing you outside of IG from seeing you at PoshFest, and I just think you are such a light in this community. So I'm so thankful that I get to talk to you today.
Thanks, Courtney. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye.
You too. Bye.